welcome to Morning Vibes with Dr. Jerry the First, episode 268. It's Saturday, the 9th day of June 2018. My names are Dr. Jerry the First Oguzie, and today I want to ask you a question. Is your job sucking your blood? Take this leap of faith. He had done well in the arts in high school. Both of his parents were lawyers. His paternal grandfather was a lawyer, and so it was said that law runs in their family. He followed his parents' footsteps and enrolled into law faculty in Harvard University, and subsequently graduated therefrom. With connections he had made while in college, and also his parents' connections, he landed a lucrative job working for a big corporation. He was doing those real estate transactional deals for needy clients. I just could not give a damn about Corporation A's interest versus Corporation B's interest, he said. It just didn't matter to me. But it was the religion he had to believe. He didn't have a choice. He had a boss and lots of clients, and they needed him to perform. Every I had to be dotted, every T crossed, he said. And of course, that's why you want, as your lawyer, someone who is obsessed with detail. But I wasn't. My brain didn't work in that way. So clients will yell at me, and my bosses too, he said. I gave one guy a memo, and he wrote in giant red letters, "I told you to write about California law, not like a Californian." I was writing creatively rather than in a rigid corporate style. I was attempting to hold on to myself, but be somewhat free in a shackled environment. But it didn't work, and I knew I was breaking, he confessed. I knew then that though I was alive, but I was really in hell. I was going to be suffering the worst life a person could have if I continued staying in that corporation, he said. But he was 25 years old. I was already making 6 figures. He was making more money than he could ever have imagined. And he was on his way to making millions. And the money was really new to him, that he didn't really know what to do with it. Now, he had a signal that reminded him the worst day was coming. Whenever the clock ticked, tick, 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 and it was Sunday night, and 60 minutes was about to air, the dread began to sink in. That meant disaster for me, he said. It meant Monday morning was just around the corner. I dreaded going to work every day, he said. He was actually in hell. Then the thought came to him to quit. He wanted out. He's not cut out for that kind of life. He was not enjoying his job, even though he was earning fabulously from it. But he had no peace of mind. He wondered why he should be having palpitations whenever he thought of going to work. Some days he had to call in sick, even though he was not physically sick, but mentally sick. He just wanted out. This kind of life was not for him. He felt that the job was literally sucking his blood, like the vampires do. But he wasn't the only one contemplating leaving. He told me about all the people who talked about getting out but never made it. And why they could not move was simple. They have been trapped. You have a wife and a number of kids. They give you a mortgage to your house, and then you're stuck in the corporate prison. You make a pledge to the death, and you're there till the death. And that's how it works for a lot of people, he said. Even the senior partners had a plan to leave. They were very wealthy and yet very miserable. How do you know they were miserable, I asked. They told me, he said. And even though they didn't tell you, you will see it. The way they treated other people and how they walked around like morons. They weren't treated with life at all. They hardly laughed, always wearing a frown. They were distracted with their salaries, but not thrilled with life. So many had confessed they were trying to get out. And because some of them were the most successful, that's what convinced him to want to get out too. But one day he woke up from bed and decided it was time to quit. It was time to throw in the towel. It was time to take back his life and the peace he so much desired. He decided to unlock the cage and just walk out. I took this leap of faith into the abyss and quit my law job, he said. What the hell was he thinking? There was nothing really to think about because I was so miserable on the job. It was profoundly depressing for me, he said. But what gave him the courage to leave such a high-paying job, especially when no one else would? And this is what gave him the courage to quit his high-paying job. One night after I came home from the law job, I was so unhappy, and I just started to write stories about my childhood. There were 3 or 4 stories I wrote in a row that all had this exuberance in them. Memories of times that I was free. And as I wrote, I thought, God, this is the first time I felt happy in a long time. Just writing. 4 hours had gone by, I only felt like it was 20 minutes. And at work, it was the opposite. 20 minutes would be like 4 hours. And that was when I came to the conclusion that if I don't kill this job by leaving it, the job will kill me, he enthused. When he quit his job with the big corporation, he took a job doing data entry at the Chicago Sun-Times for $23,000 a year. That's 1/10 of what he was making as a lawyer. And he realized his lifestyle didn't change that much. He still had an apartment, he still had a car, he still had a bed, he still had a stereo. He was doing what he loved doing without a huge lifestyle change. And I didn't wake up at 3 in the morning in a cold sweat. That was a huge bonus, he said. I think we're all allowed to deserve more or want more in our lives. And this story is an example of that. The more examples I can find in life, the more capable I feel of being free. He said, in a way, taking this leap was sort of easy for me because I was suffering so badly. I just couldn't contemplate any future in that world. So now when the clock ticks and 60 minutes is starting, he can relax. He no longer has to start sweating when it is cold. And he no longer has to carry his hat in his palms all the time, wondering what his clients and his bosses shall tell him again. The man whose story I have just carried in this write-up today is Robert Coulson, and he's now a best-selling author, making much more than 6 figures. He found this by taking a huge leap of faith. And you too can. If your job is sucking your blood, remember that blood is the essential fluid that sustains life. Be careful that your job does not kill you. Rather, kill it before it does. If you do not enjoy your job, if your job comes to you as a hard task, then it's time to take a leap of faith and go to where you shall be at peace with yourself and enjoy your job. Until I come your way again, this is Morning Vibes with Dr. Jerry the First. This program is powered by Top Media and Communication Nigeria. All rights reserved. Thank you for listening to this broadcast today. It would please us to no end if you continue to visit our podcast. And so to be able to do that, kindly click on the red subscribe button towards your right to subscribe to our channel. In the same vein, also click on the bell beside the subscribe button so that you can always receive the notification for any new podcast we upload. Also give us a thumb up to like these podcasts. These help us to grow. And do help us share the podcast to your friends in the different social media sites you belong to. Click on the share tab just below the podcast and share directly from there. The full text of this podcast is on our blog, and would you want to read it, kindly visit the blog. We have a Facebook page where we also post our podcast on a daily basis. If you're on Facebook, kindly like our Facebook page. The links to our blog and our Facebook page are in the description box right below. Thank you for your attention. Do have a very nice day.